How are you guys doing? Today is Thursday, February 17th, 2021. I'm James Sims, and for this episode of The Elite, I'm going to review yesterday's Elite matchups and performances from Wednesday, February 16th, 2022. Before I go in, taking a quick step back and looking at where we are in the calendar year, with the 2021 NFL season now being over, now that the Los Angeles Rams have won Super Bowl 56, and they've already had their Super Bowl parade. We're going to take a look at what's going on here in the second half of the college and professional basketball season, as the NBA All-Star Game is actually this weekend. We are also going to take a look at what happened in the next couple of matchups in the Champions League round of 16 knockout stage. And of course, we are moving into the third week of the Winter Olympic Games in 2022 in Beijing. But first, with that said, I'm going to jump into college basketball before we move up to the pros. Looking at the top-ranked college basketball team in the nation, the Gonzaga Bulldogs went to Malibu, faced off against the unranked Pepperdine Waves. Gonzaga beat Pepperdine 86-66. They won this game by 20 after outscoring Pepperdine by 16 in the first half. On the winning end of this matchup, the Bulldogs were led in scoring by their starting forward, Drew Timme. He finished with 19 points and 5 rebounds in 25 minutes. He shot 9 for 17 from the field, and he made his only free throw. With this win, the top-ranked Gonzaga Bulldogs are 22-2. They are 11-0 in the West Coast Conference. They have the best record within their conference so far. They are the only undefeated team. They are the only team with less than 3 wins with less than 3 losses so far in the West Coast Conference thus far in the season. Taking a look at the second-ranked team in the nation, the Auburn Tigers hosted the unranked Vanderbilt Commodores. Auburn beat Vanderbilt 94-80. They won this game by 14 after outscoring the Commodores by 10 in the second half. On the winning end of this matchup, the second-ranked Auburn Tigers were led in scoring by their starting freshman, Jabari Smith. He finished with 31 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists in 28 minutes. He shot 10 for 16 from the field, 7 for 10 from 3, and he shot 4 for 7 from the foul line. Their starting center, their sophomore out of Noonan, Georgia, Walker Kessler, would go on to finish with 22 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 blocks in 27 minutes. He shot 8 for 10 from the field and 6 for 7 from the foul line. With this win, the second-ranked Auburn Tigers are 24-2. They are 12-1 in the SEC. They are the only team with less than 3 losses in the SEC so far. They have the best record in the conference. With this loss, the unranked Vanderbilt Commodores are 13-12. They are now 5-8 in the SEC. Now taking a look at the fifth-ranked team in the nation, the Purdue Boilermakers would face off against the unranked Northwestern Wildcats. Purdue beat Northwestern 70-64. They won this game by 6 after outscoring Northwestern by 4 in the first half. On the winning end of this matchup, the Boilermakers were led in scoring by their starting center, Zach Edey. He finished with 14 points and 8 rebounds in 24 minutes. He shot 6 for 8 from the field and a perfect 2 for 2 from the foul line. With this win, the fifth-ranked Purdue Boilermakers are 23-4. They are 12-4 in the Big Ten. That is the best record in their conference. They are the only team with more than 11 wins, as Wisconsin, Illinois, and Ohio State are the 3 other teams in their conference with only 4 losses. With this loss, the unranked Northwestern Wildcats are 12-12. They are 5-10 in the Big Ten so far. Now, jumping out to the 7th-ranked team in the nation, the defending champs Baylor Bears went to Texas Tech to face off against the 11th-ranked Red Raiders. Texas Tech beat Baylor 83-73. They won by 10 after outscoring the defending champs by 17 points in the second half in front of their hometown fans to pick up their 9th Big 12 win. On the losing end of this matchup, the 7th-ranked Baylor Bears were led in scoring by their starting guard, James Akinjo. He finished with 18 points and 7 assists, as well as 5 turnovers in 34 minutes. He shot 6 for 12 from the field and a perfect 4 for 4 from the foul line. On the winning end of this matchup, the 11th-ranked Red Raiders were led in scoring by their starting forward, Kevin O'Banner. He finished with 23 points and 13 rebounds in 29 minutes. He shot 8 for 13 from the field, 4 for 7 from 3, and a perfect 3 for 3 from the foul line. With this win, the 11th-ranked Texas Tech Red Raiders are 20-6. They are 9-4 in the Big 12. They are now tied with Baylor for the second-best record in the conference, behind Kansas. With this loss, the 7th-ranked Baylor Bears are 21-5. They are 9-4 in the Big 12. They are tied with Texas Tech for the second best record in the Big 12, as they only sit behind 10-2 Kansas thus far in the season. Now, taking a look at the 12th ranked team in the nation, the Illinois Fighting Illini would go to New Jersey, face off against the unranked Rutgers Scarlet Knights. Rutgers would upset Illinois. They won this matchup 70-59 in front of their hometown fans. They won by 11 after outscoring Illinois by 9 in the first half. On the losing end of this matchup, the Illinois starting center Kofi Cockburn finished with 20 points and 10 rebounds in 33 minutes. He shot 8 for 14 from the field. And on the winning end of this matchup, the unranked Rutgers Scarlet Knights were led in scoring by their starting forward, Ron Harper Jr. He finished with 16 points and 8 rebounds in 36 minutes. He shot 6 for 13 from the field, 2 for 5 from 3, and a perfect 2 for 2 from the foul line. With this win, the unranked Rutgers Scarlet Knights are 16-9. They are 10-5 in the Big Ten. That is the 5th best record so far. And with this loss, the 12th ranked Illinois Fighting Illini are now 11-4. Or they are 18-7 total. They are 11-4 in the Big Ten. They are tied with Wisconsin for the second best record in the Big Ten, sitting behind Purdue by a win. Now, looking at what's going on with the 24th ranked team in the nation, the UConn Huskies hosted the unranked Seton Hall Pirates. UConn beat Seton Hall 70-65. They won this matchup by 5 after they outscored the Pirates by 4 in the second half. On the winning end of this matchup, the 24th ranked Huskies were led in scoring by their starting forward, Adama Sonogo. He finished with 20 points and 16 rebounds alongside 3 blocks in 34 minutes. He shot 9 for 17 from the field. With this win, the 24th ranked UConn Huskies are 18-7. They are 9-5 in the Big East. That is the 3rd best record in the conference, behind Providence and Villanova. With this loss, the unranked Seton Hall Pirates are 15-9 on the year. They are 6-8 in the Big East for the moment, at least. Last but not least, looking at the 25th ranked team in the nation, the Alabama Crimson Tide hosted the unranked Mississippi State Bulldogs. Alabama beat Mississippi State 80-75. They won this game by 5 after outscoring Mississippi State by 4 in the first half. On the winning end, the 25th ranked Crimson Tide were led in scoring by their starting guard, Javon Quinterly. He finished with 21 points, 8 assists, and 2 blocks in 37 minutes. He shot 8 for 16 from the field, 3 for 8 from 3, and a perfect 2 for 2 from the foul line. With this win, the 25th ranked Alabama Crimson Tide are now 17-9. They are now 7-6 in the SEC. They are now tied with LSU for the 5th best record in the entire conference. With this loss, the unranked Mississippi State Bulldogs are 14-11. They are 5-7 in the SEC. Now, taking a look at what college basketball is looking like today, at least for the ranked matchups. At 7 o'clock on ESPNU, 21st ranked Murray State is going to host unranked Austin Peay. Murray State enters this matchup with a 14-0 record in the Ohio Valley Conference. At 7:30, the 3rd-ranked Arizona Wildcats are going to host unranked Oregon State in McKale Center in Tucson. That's going to be on Pac-12 Network. Arizona enters this matchup with a 12-1 record in the Pac-12. Oregon State enters this matchup with a 1-12 record in the Pac-12. At 9 o'clock on ESPN2, the 14th-ranked the Houston Cougars are going to host unranked UCF on ESPN2. That's going to be in the Fertitta Center in Houston. At 11 o'clock, the 13th-ranked UCLA Bruins are going to host unranked Washington State on FS1 in Pauley Pavilion. UCLA enters this matchup with a 9-4 record in the Pac-12. And last but not least, at 11:30, the 17th-ranked USC Trojans are going to host the unranked Washington Huskies on Pac-12 Network in the Galen Center in LA. USC enters this matchup with a 10-4 record in the Pac-12 for the time being. Taking a look at what's going on in the NBA now, starting off in Orlando, the Magic hosted the Atlanta Hawks. The Hawks beat the Magic 130-109. The Hawks won this matchup by 21 after they were able to outscore the Magic by 19 in the first half. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Orlando Magic were led in scoring by their starting point guard out of North Carolina, Cole Anthony. He finished with 23 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists in 25 minutes. He would go on to shoot 9 for 16 from the field, 2 for 5 from three, and a perfect 3 for 3 from the foul line. Their starting center, Wendell Carter Jr. out of Duke, finished with 10 points, 10 rebounds, and 6 assists in 27 minutes. He shot 4 for 7 from the field and 2 for 3 from the foul line. On the winning end of this matchup, the Atlanta Hawks were led in scoring by their shooting guard off the bench, Bogdan Bogdanovic. He finished with 23 points, 6 assists, and 2 steals in 26 minutes. He shot 9 for 13 from the field, 4 for 6 from 3, and 1 for 2 from the foul line. Their elite starting point guard, Trae Young, would finish with 22 points, 3 rebounds, and 6 assists in 25 minutes. Their all-star starting point guard shot 5 for 13 from the field, 4 for 5 from 3, and a perfect 8 for 8 from the foul line. With this win, the Atlanta Hawks are now 28-30. That is the 10th best record in the Eastern Conference. They've won their last 2 games, and they've won 5 of their last 10. They are currently sitting 9.5 games behind the first-place Chicago Bulls, as they are sitting in that last play-in spot. And with this loss, the Orlando Magic are now 13-47. That is the worst record in the Eastern Conference. They've now lost their last 4 games. They've lost 7 of their last 10. Their 4-game losing streak is the longest active losing streak in the Eastern Conference for right now. And their losing streak is the only losing streak that's longer is the Houston Rockets, as the Rockets have lost their last 6. The Magic have lost 7 of their last 10, and they are currently sitting 16 games behind the 10 seed Atlanta Hawks out east. Jumping out to what's going on in Boston, the Celtics hosted the Detroit Pistons. The Pistons were able to jump ahead of the Magic by beating the Celtics 112-111, ending the Celtics winning streak. They won this matchup by 1. They were able to outscore the Celtics by 5 points in the third quarter. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Boston Celtics were led in scoring by their starting shooting guard, Jaylen Brown, out of California. He finished with 31 points and 6 assists in 38 minutes. He shot 12 for 21 from the field, 3 for 6 from 3, and 4 for 5 from the foul line. Their elite starting small forward, Jason Tatum, finished with 22 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, and 7 turnovers in 39 minutes. He shot 7 for 15 from the field, 2 for 6 from 3, and a perfect 6 for 6 from the foul line. On the winning end of this matchup, the Detroit Pistons were led in scoring by their starting small forward, Jeremy Grant. He finished with 24 points and 2 steals in 29 minutes. He shot 8 for 13 from the field, 4 for 6 from 3, and a perfect 4 for 4 from the foul line. Their starting small forward, Saddiq Bey, finished with 20 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists, and 2 steals in 34 minutes. He shot 7 for 13 from the field, 5 for 8 from 3, and 1 for 2 from the foul line. And their starting point guard, last year's number 1 overall pick out of Oklahoma State, Cade Cunningham, finished with 20 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, and 5 turnovers in 36 minutes. He shot 8 for 22 from the field, 3 for 6 from 3, and he shot 1 for 2 from the foul line. With this win, the Detroit Pistons are now 13-45. That is the second worst record in the Eastern Conference. They've won only 2 of their last 10 games. They are currently sitting 18 full games behind the 8th seed Brooklyn Nets, but they are also sitting right now 15 full games behind the 10 seed Atlanta Hawks out east with that 10 seed. With this loss, the Boston Celtics are 34-26. That is the 6th best record in the East. They've only lost 1 of their last 10 games, as that ended their 9-game winning streak. They sit 4.5 games behind the first seed Chicago Bulls out east. Jumping out to Indianapolis, the Pacers hosted the Washington Wizards. The Pacers beat the Wizards 113-108. They won this matchup by 5 after they outscored the Wizards by 5 in the second quarter. On the losing end of this matchup, the Wizards were led in scoring by their starting shooting guard out of Georgia, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. He finished with 27 points and 3 steals in 34 minutes. He shot 9 for 18 from the field, 5 for 8 from 3, and a perfect 4 for 4 from the foul line. They're starting small forward from the Lakers as well, Kyle Kuzma, finished with 26 points, 15 rebounds, and 6 assists in 38 minutes. He shot 9 for 27 from the field, 6 for 12 from 3, and a perfect 2 for 2 from the foul line. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown Indiana Pacers were led in scoring by their starting point guard, Tyrese Halliburton, out of Iowa State. He finished with 21 points, 5 rebounds, and 14 assists in 39 minutes. He shot 6 for 17 from the field and 8 for 10 from the foul line. With this win, the Indiana Pacers are now 20-40. That is the third worst record in the Eastern Conference. They've only won 2 of their last 10 games. They sit 9 games behind the 10 seed Atlanta Hawks out east. With this loss, the Washington Wizards are now 26-31. That is the 5th worst record in the Eastern Conference. They've lost 7 of their last 10 games. They sit a game and a half behind the 10 seed Atlanta Hawks out east. Jumping out to Madison Square Garden, the New York Knicks hosted the Brooklyn Nets. The Nets would beat the Knicks 111-106. One of the bigger plays down the stretch is a big shot by Cam Thomas in order to give them the win and end their losing streak. The Nets were able to beat the Knicks by 5 after outscoring the Knicks by 19 points in the last quarter. They also outscored the Knicks by 7 in the third quarter, so that'll be a combined 26 points in the second half. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown New York Knicks were led in scoring by their starting small forward, Julius Randle. He finished with 31 points and 10 rebounds alongside 2 blocks in 37 minutes. He shot 10 for 22 from the field, 4 for 8 from 3, and he shot 7 for 8 from the foul line. On the winning end of this matchup, the Brooklyn Nets were led in scoring by their shooting guard off the bench, Cam Thomas. He finished with 21 points in 30 minutes. He shot 9 for 21 from the field, and he shot 2 for 3 from the foul line. Their starting shooting guard, Seth Curry, finished with 20 points and 6 assists in 36 minutes. He shot 7 for 14 from the field and 6 for 9 from 3. Their center off the bench, LaMarcus Aldridge, finished with 18 points and 10 rebounds in 22 minutes. He shot 7 for 14 from the field and 4 for 6 from the foul line. And then their starting center, Andre Drummond, finished with 11 points and 19 rebounds in 23 minutes. He shot 5 for 11 from the field. With this win, the Brooklyn Nets are now 31-27. That is the 8th best record in the Eastern Conference. They've won their last 2 games, and they've only won 2 of their last 10. They sit 6.5 games behind the first seed Chicago Bulls out east. With this loss, the New York Knicks are 25-34. That is the 4th worst record in the Eastern Conference. They've lost their last 3 games. That is the 2nd longest active losing streak in the Eastern Conference. They've lost, like I said, 8 of their last 10. They are currently sitting 3.5 games behind the 10 seed Atlanta Hawks out east. Taking a look at what's going on jumping out to Chicago. The Chicago Bulls hosted the Sacramento Kings. The Bulls beat the Kings 125-118. The Bulls won this game by 7 after they outscored the Kings by 5 in the last quarter. On the losing end of this matchup, the Kings were led in scoring by their starting point guard out of Kentucky, De'Aaron Fox. He finished with 33 points, 6 rebounds, 9 assists, 2 steals, and 5 turnovers in 41 minutes. He shot 14 for 26 from the field, 2 for 5 from 3, and 3 for 4 from the foul line. Their starting power forward, Domantas Sabonis, finished with 22 points, 12 rebounds, 8 assists, and 2 steals in 37 minutes. He shot 10 for 15 from the field and a perfect 2 for 2 from the foul line. On the winning end of this matchup, the Chicago Bulls were led in scoring by their all-star starting small forward out of USC, DeMar DeRozan. He finished with 38 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists in 41 minutes. He shot 16 for 27 from the field. He made his only 3-pointer, and he made all 5 of his free throws on the day. Their starting point guard, Kobe White, finished with 31 points, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists in 40 minutes. He shot 11 for 19 from the field, 6 for 11 from 3, and 3 for 4 from the foul line. Their starting center, Nikola Vucevic, finished with 21 points, 10 rebounds, and 2 steals in 38 minutes. He shot 8 for 18 from the field and a perfect 4 for 4 from the foul line. With this win, the Chicago Bulls are now 38-21. That is the best record in the East. They've now won their last 5 games, and they've won 7 of their last 10. They now sit half a game ahead of the second-place Miami Heat in the Eastern Conference. With this loss, the Sacramento Kings are now 22-38. That is the 3rd worst record in the Western Conference. They've lost their last 2 games, and they've lost 6 of their last 10. At the moment, they are sitting 3.5 games behind the 10 seed Portland Trailblazers out west. Taking a look at what's going or just jumping out to Tennessee and Memphis, the Grizzlies hosted the Portland Trailblazers. The Trailblazers beat the Memphis Grizzlies 123-119. Portland won this matchup by 4 after outscoring the Grizzlies by a combined 11 points in the first half. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Memphis Grizzlies were led in scoring by their elite starting point guard out of Murray State, Ja Morant. Morant finished with 44 points, 5 rebounds, and 11 assists in 38 minutes. He shot 11 for 20 from the field, 1 for 6 from 3, and he shot 21 for 25 from the free throw line. Their starting shooting guard out of TCU, Desmond Bane, finished with 30 points and 5 rebounds in 36 minutes. He shot 9 for 19 from the field, 7 for 12 from 3, and a perfect 5 for 5 from the foul line. Their power forward off the bench, Brandon Clark, finished with 12 points, 10 rebounds, 2 steals, and 2 blocks in 26 minutes as he shot 6 for 14 from the field. On the winning end of this matchup, the Portland Trail Blazers were led in scoring by their starting center, Jusuf Nurkic, out of Bosnia. He finished with 32 points and 8 rebounds in 34 minutes as he shot 12 for 17 from the field, 1 for 2 from 3, and he shot 7 for 10 from the foul line. Their starting shooting guard, Anthony Simons, finished with 31 points and 6 assists alongside 3 rebounds in 34 minutes. He shot 11 for 18 from the field, 5 for 10 from 3, and he shot a perfect 4 for 4 from the foul line. Their starting shooting guard, Josh Hart, finished with 22 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists in 37 minutes. He shot 7 for 12 from the field, 3 for 6 from 3, and 5 for 7 from the foul line. With this win, the Portland Trail Blazers are 25-34. That is the 10th best record in the Western Conference, as they are holding on to that last play-in spot. They've won their last 4 games, and they've won 4 of their last 10. They sit 23.5 games behind the first seed Phoenix Suns out west. With this loss, the Memphis Grizzlies are now 41-19. That is the 3rd best record in the Western Conference and the 3rd best record in the NBA for that matter. They've lost only 2 of their last 10 games, and they sit 8 full games behind the first seed Phoenix Suns out west. Jumping out to Minneapolis, the Minnesota Timberwolves hosted the Toronto Raptors from just over the border. The Raptors were able to beat the Timberwolves 103-91. They won by 12 after outscoring the Timberwolves by 14 in the fourth quarter. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Minnesota Timberwolves were led in scoring by their elite starting center, Karl-Anthony Towns. He finished with 24 points, 11 rebounds, 3 assists, and 3 steals in 34 minutes. He shot 9 for 14 from the field, 2 for 3 from 3, and 4 for 5 from the foul line. Also in their starting lineup, their elite starting small forward, Anthony Edwards, finished with 6 points and 3 rebounds in 32 minutes as he shot 6 for 10 from the foul line. On the winning end of this matchup, the Toronto Raptors were led in scoring by their starting shooting guard out of Duke, Gary Trent Jr. He finished with 30 points, 4 rebounds, and a couple of assists in 39 minutes. He shot 10 for 24 from the field, 5 for 12 from 3, and he shot 5 for 7 from the foul line. And then with this win, the Toronto Raptors are now 32-25. That is currently the 7th best record in the Eastern Conference. They've won 8 of their last 10 games, and they now sit 5 games behind the first seed Chicago Bulls out east. And with this loss, the Minnesota Timberwolves are now 31-28. That is the 7th best record in the Western Conference. They've lost only 3 of their last 10 games. They sit 17.5 games behind the Phoenix Suns out west. Jumping out to Oklahoma City, the Thunder hosted the San Antonio Spurs. The Spurs beat the Thunder 114-106. They won by 8 after outscoring the Thunder by a combined 15 points in the first half. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown OKC Thunder were led in scoring by their starting point guard, Trey Mann. He finished with 24 points and 6 rebounds in 31 minutes. He shot 10 for 20 from the field, 3 for 7 from 3, and he would go on to make 1 of his 3 free throws on the night. Their point guard off the bench, Theo Maledon, will go on to finish with 22 points and 2 steals in 29 minutes. He shot 6 for 14 from the field, 2 for 5 from 3, and 8 for 9 from the foul line. Their starting power forward, Isaiah Roby, would finish with 17 points, 12 rebounds, and 3 steals in 29 minutes. He shot 7 for 19 from the field, and he shot 2 for 4 from the foul line. Their starting shooting guard, their rookie out of Australia, Josh Giddey, finished with 17 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists in 33 minutes. He shot 8 for 18 from the field and 1 for 4 from 3. And on the winning end of this matchup, the San Antonio Spurs were led in scoring by their starting small forward, Keldon Johnson. He finished with 22 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 steals in 36 minutes. He shot 7 for 14 from the field and a perfect 7 for 7 from the foul line. Their starting center, Jakob Poeltl out of Utah, finished with 20 points, 17 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 blocks in 32 minutes. He shot 10 for 14 from the field. With this win, the San Antonio Spurs are 23-36. That is the 4th worst record in the Western Conference. They've won 5 of their last 10 games. At the moment, they are sitting 2 games behind the 10 seed Portland Trailblazers out west. With this loss, the Oklahoma City Thunder are 18-40. That is the 2nd worst record in the Western Conference. They've lost 6 of their last 10 games. They sit 6.5 games behind the 10 seed Portland Trailblazers out west. Jumping out to Phoenix, the Phoenix Suns hosted the Houston Rockets, the holders of the worst record in the West, and the Suns were able to beat the Rockets 124-121. The Suns won this matchup by 3 after outscoring the Rockets by 9 points in the 4th quarter to overcome their 6-point deficit. On the losing end of this matchup, the Houston Rockets were led in scoring by their starting German point guard, Dennis Schroeder. He finished with 23 points, 6 rebounds, 9 assists, and 6 turnovers in 39 minutes. He would go on to shoot 7 for 16 from the field, and he shot 7 for 8 from the foul line. Their starting small forward, Jae'Sean Tate, would finish with 22 points, 10 rebounds in 28 minutes. He shot 7 for 9 from the field and a perfect 8 for 8 from the foul line. Their starting shooting guard, Eric Gordon, finished with 20 points in 38 minutes. He shot 8 for 24 from the field, and he shot 1 for 2 from the foul line. Their starting center, Alperen Sengun, finished with 19 points, 14 rebounds, in 2 steals in 28 minutes. He shot 7 for 11 from the field, 3 for 4 from 3, and a perfect 2 for 2 from the foul line. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown Phoenix Suns were led in scoring by their elite starting shooting guard out of Kentucky, Devin Booker. He finished with 24 points, 3 rebounds, 8 assists, 3 steals, and 2 blocks in 43 minutes. He shot 7 for 22 from the field, 1 for 5 from 3, and a perfect 9 for 9 from the foul line. Their starting center out of Arizona, DeAndre Ayton, finished with 23 points and 9 rebounds in 27 minutes. He shot 9 for 15 from the field and 5 for 6 from the foul line. Their elite starting point guard, Chris Paul, finished with 11 points, 6 assists, and 2 steals in 19 minutes. He shot 3 for 5 from the field and a perfect 5 for 5 from the foul line. With this win, the Phoenix Suns are 48-10. That is the best record in the Western Conference, and that's currently the best record in the NBA. They are the only team that has won at least 80% of their games this year. They've won their last 7 games. Their 7-game winning streak is the longest active winning streak in the NBA now that the Celtics have lost. They've won 9 of their last 10. They sit 6.5 games ahead of the second-place Golden State Warriors in the Western Conference. With this loss, the Houston Rockets are now 15-42. That is the worst record in the Western Conference. They've lost their last 6 games. That is the longest active losing streak in the NBA for the time being. They've lost 9 of their last 10, and they currently are sitting 9 games behind the 10-seed Portland Trailblazers out west. Jumping out to San Francisco, the Golden State Warriors hosted the Denver Nuggets. The Nuggets beat the Warriors 117-116. The Nuggets won this game by 1 after outscoring the Warriors by 9 in the 4th quarter in order to overcome their 8-point deficit. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Golden State Warriors were led in scoring by their goated starting point guard, the NBA's all-time leader in three-pointers made, Stephen Curry, out of Davidson, would finish with 25 points, 3 rebounds, and 6 assists in 39 minutes. He shot 10 for 19 from the field, 1 for 7 from 3, and a perfect 4 for 4 from the foul line. Their elite starting shooting guard, Klay Thompson, out of Washington State, finished with 16 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists in 31 minutes. He shot 5 for 15 from the field, 3 for 10 from 3, and 3 for 4 from the foul line. Their all-star starting small forward out of Kansas, Andrew Wiggins, finished with 9 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals in 36 minutes. He shot 4 for 12 from the field and 1 for 5 from the foul line. On the winning end of this matchup, the Denver Nuggets were led in scoring by their elite starting center, last year's MVP, Nikola Jokic. He finished with 35 points, 17 rebounds, and 8 assists, alongside 5 turnovers in 34 minutes. He shot 13 for 24 from the field, 3 for 5 from 3, three, and he shot 6 for 9 from the foul line. Monte Morris he was the one that made the game winner. And also their shooting guard off the bench, Bryn Forbes, finished with 22 points in 30 minutes as he shot 8 for 12 from the field, 4 for 7 from three, and a perfect 2 for 2 from the foul line. With this win, the Denver Nuggets are now 33-25. That is the sixth best record in the Western Conference. They've now won their last 3 games. They've won 6 of their last 10. They now sit 15 games behind the first seed Phoenix Suns out west. With this loss, the Golden State Warriors are now 42-17. That is the second best record in the Western Conference. They've lost their last 2 games. They've lost 4 of their last 10. They now sit 6.5 games behind the first seed Phoenix Suns out west. And at the moment, that is how close they are, how far behind they are for first place when they were holding it not that long ago. Last but not least, jumping out to the Crypto.com arena, the LA Lakers hosted the Utah Jazz. The Lakers beat the Jazz 106-101. They won this game by 5 after they outscored the Jazz by 13 points in the fourth quarter. On the losing end of this matchup, the Jazz were led in scoring by their elite starting shooting guard, Donovan Mitchell. Mitchell finished with 37 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, and 4 steals in 37 minutes. He shot 13 for 24 from the field, 5 for 11 from 3, and he would go on to shoot 6 for 7 from the foul line. Their elite starting center out of France, Rudy Gobert, finished with 5 points, 11 rebounds, and 3 blocks in 28 minutes. He shot 2 for 3 from the field and 1 for 2 from the foul line. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown LA Lakers were led in scoring by their goated starting small forward, LeBron James. He would finish with 33 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists alongside 2 steals in 40 minutes. He shot 14 for 23 from the field, 3 for 8 from 3, and a perfect 2 for 2 from the foul line. Their elite starting power forward out of Kentucky, Anthony Davis, would play 17 minutes before he would get hurt. But he finished with 17 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 blocks. And he would shoot 7 for 9 from the field. He made his only 3-pointer, and he made both of his free throws on the night. Their goated starting point guard out of UCLA, Russell Westbrook, the NBA's all-time leader in triple-doubles, would finish with 17 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, and 5 turnovers in 33 minutes. He shot 6 for 13 from the field, 1 for 4 from 3, and 4 for 7 from the foul line. With this win, the Los Angeles Lakers are now 27-31. That is the 9th best record in the Western Conference, as they are still in a play-in slot at the moment. They've won 3 of their last 10 games, and they are currently sitting 21 games behind the first seed Phoenix Suns out west. With this loss, the Utah Jazz are now 36-22. They've only lost 4 of their last 10 games. They sit 12 games behind the first seed Phoenix Suns out west. That is what the NBA is looking like following yesterday's matchups. Taking a look at what's going on today, and because today is Thursday, we all know that the primetime games are going to be on TNT. At 8:30, the defending champs Milwaukee Bucks are going to host the Philadelphia 76ers at Fiserv Forum, as the reigning champ Giannis is going to face off against Joel Embiid and very possibly James Harden in what could be James Harden's debut game in Philly. The Bucks are currently holding the 3rd best record in the East. The Sixers are holding the 5th best record. Looking at the games that aren't on prime time, at 7, the Charlotte Hornets are going to host the Miami Heat in the Spectrum Center. At 7:30, the Brooklyn Nets are going to host the Washington Wizards as a makeup game, and that's going to be in the Barclays Center. At 8 o'clock, the New Orleans Pelicans are going to host the Dallas Mavericks in the Smoothie King Center. And at 10:30, the LA Clippers are going to host the Houston Rockets in the Crypto.com arena. So that is what the NBA is going to look like. And right before we get to the Olympics, jumping into Europe, taking a look at what's going on in those matchups. Starting off in La Liga, Atletico Madrid ended up losing 1-0 to Levante. With this loss, Atletico Madrid is now sitting 5th in La Liga, right behind Barcelona, as Barcelona has 1 less game played. As Levante is now currently still sitting at the very bottom of Spain with this win, as Madrid is still kind of wondering how they were able to let this win slip away from them, and very possibly they might have let Champions League slip away from them as well. Taking a look at what happened in the second day of the round of 16 in the Champions League, Taking a look first at what happened with the reigning Bundesliga champs. Bayern Munich would face off against FC Salzburg, the reigning champs of Austria. This game would end up as a 1-1 draw. Salzburg scored the first goal of the game from Chibuki Abdamu in the 21st minute, and then Bayern would score in the 90th minute from their French forward Kingsley Coman. With this draw, they're now tied on aggregates. The second leg will be played in Munich, as of course Bayern will have quite the home advantage, and they will have to win this straight up, considering there is no away goal advantages this time. And then taking a look at what happened in Italy, the reigning Serie A champs Inter Milan would host Liverpool. Liverpool would end up beating Inter 2-0, as both of their goals came in the second half. Roberto Firmino would score in the 75th minute off of a header, and then Mo Salah would score in the 83rd minute as the ball was dropped right to his feet. He would knock it right in, and with these two goals, they now have the advantage, as Liverpool will host the second leg of this matchup all the way in March. So that's what soccer is looking like from yesterday. Taking a look at what is going on today and what is going to be the Europa League knockout round playoffs. Starting off, Barcelona is going to face off against Napoli. Going into this matchup, Barcelona was a team that was relegated from Champions League group stage. And right now they are sitting fourth in La Liga at the moment, so they're a pretty solid team. Napoli is holding the third best record in Serie A, so that's going to be one of the better matchups to look forward to. Borussia Dortmund is going to face off against Rangers from Scotland. Borussia Dortmund enters this matchup with the second best record in the Bundesliga, so of course they're a team to look out for as well. Not to mention that FC Porto is going to play against Lazio at 3 o'clock, Atalanta versus Olympiacos, even Sevilla versus Dynamo Zagreb, as Sevilla is holding on to the second best record in Spain right now. And that is really everything that's going on with Europa League. Those are the big matchups. And then taking a look, last but not least, at what was going on in the Olympics. Yesterday was the 15th day of competition. We are now entering the third week. This is also coming from the 12th day in which medals were awarded. Starting off in alpine skiing in the men's slalom run, the gold medal was given to Clément Noël of France. The silver medal was given to Austria, and the bronze medal was, of course, given to Norway. In the women's 4x6K relay biathlon, the gold medal was given to Sweden. The silver was given to the Russian Olympic Committee, and the bronze was given to Germany. In cross-country skiing in the women's team sprint classic final, the gold medal was given to Germany. Sweden took the silver, and Russian Olympic Committee took the bronze. In the men's team sprint classic final, the gold medal was given to Norway. The silver went to Finland, and the bronze went to Russia. In freestyle skiing, in the men's freestyle slopestyle final run, the gold medal was given to Alexander Hall of the United States. The U.S. was also able to take silver in this event, as Sweden took the bronze. In the men's aerial final, the gold medal went to Gongpu Chi of China. Ukraine would take home the silver, and the Russian Olympic Committee would take home the bronze. In short track speed skating in the men's 5,000-meter relay, the gold medal was given to Canada. Silver medal went to the Republic of Korea, and bronze went to Italy. And then in the women's 1,500-meter final, the gold medal went to Min Jong Choi of Korea. She took home the gold. Italy would take home the silver, and then the Netherlands would take home the bronze. Taking a look at where the medals sit right now, is because there is a little bit of a delay because of time zones and all. But right now, the nation that currently holds the most medals is Norway, as they are also holding the lead for gold medals. They have 28 total medals and 13 gold medals. Germany is second in the world in gold medals, as they have 10 of them. The United States is sitting third with 8 of them. Sweden and the People's Republic of China are tied for fourth in the world with 7 gold medals. Austria, Netherlands, and Switzerland are tied for 6th, as they have 6 gold medals total. And looking at the nations that are currently leading in total medals, right now, Norway has the most with their 28. They have 13 gold. They have 7 silver medals, and they have 8 bronze. The Russian Olympic Committee has the second most medals, as they have 24. They have 4 total golds. They have 8 silvers and 12 bronze medals. They have the most bronze medals of any country. Germany is sitting with the third most medals, tied with the U.S., as Germany has 10 gold medals, which is the second most, 6 bronze medals and 6 silver medals and 5 bronze medals. The U.S. has 8 gold medals. They have 8 silver medals, which is tied with the Russian Olympic Committee for the most silver medals, and the U.S. also has 5 bronze medals as well. Canada has the 5th most medals, as they have 20. They have 4 golds, 5 silvers, and 11 bronzes for the time being. Austria has 17 medals. Italy has 16. Sweden, the Netherlands, and Japan have 15. The People's Republic of China and France have 13, and France has 12, as there are 13 total nations that have double-digit amount of medals. And with that said, once all of today's exhibitions, matchups, and Olympic events are completed, I'm going to come back tomorrow on Friday, February 18th, for another episode of The Elite. And until then, I want to thank everyone once again for listening to this piece. I hope all is well, and I'll catch you with another episode after this. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you with another piece. Peace out. I also want to thank the NCAA, NBA, FIFA, and Olympic websites for giving me all the stats and figures, because I wouldn't be able to do this without them as well. And I want to thank everyone for listening. I hope all is well, and I'll catch you with another piece. Peace out.